Hi YouTube, Darth here. This is Over Your Shoulder, a series where I follow unsuspecting players and give what is usually unsolicited advice. Today I'm following RAPTOR-Omar, a level 140 player with a serious commitment to the MG4. With a huge amount of time played, almost all of it has been on Rush or Conquest. Today I'm following RAPTOR-Omar on a round of Conquest lockers. As I follow over Omar's shoulder, I'll call out all the good things, the bad things, and the things I might do differently. So let's take a look over Omar's shoulder. Alright, we are on the ground with RAPTOR-Omar, and it looks like we're using the F2000 with Coyote and muzzle brake and a stubby grip. Not sure about the muzzle brake on PC, probably a better choice on the console. My personal choice for this weapon would probably be to give it a laser sight, a flash hider, and a vertical grip. In fact, there's probably a lot of ways you could set up this weapon a little bit better, but let's take a look at the outside and see what's going on. So yeah, we have a little bit of action there on the outside, but we don't care because we're running straight up the middle and doing some really questionable reses. And right now we have the typical situation going on where one team takes the center and the other team just sort of holes up here in the middle, like praying they're going to come through the center point, but it's never really going to happen for them. And you can see on the minimap how that outside lane is pretty much completely deserted, and we can expect that the US team is going to be plugging that with lots and lots of bodies. Right now, I'd be worried about what's going on outside. Usually when I see this situation, it means that Echo or Delta is about to start moving because nobody's paid attention to the outside. Now it looks like we have a few of our friendly teammates going outside, so we'll get a better picture here in a second of what's going on out there. Omar's sort of doing the timid peek here, trying to look and see what we see inside. Not a whole lot of anything but bullets in our face. Being a good teammate and getting those reses off, probably not a good idea to try and stick around here much longer. And if you take a look at that minimap, you can see those guys that went outside are dead, so you can pretty well bet that there are enemy teammates coming down that corridor. Risky move here, putting himself in front of the door while he's trying to res. Probably should have been killed there. And this is just a meat grinder here with senseless death all around. Just trying to support the teammates a little bit here. Getting a couple shots in there. Wow, got a nice multi-kill by surprise. Probably didn't intend to get both of those guys. Just happened to line up that way. Taking a look at the mini-map, you can see that there's quite a few enemy team members over there on the other side. Pretty much all you can do here is defend, except we're going on the attack, and it looks like we're going to get taken out just as expected. Respawned on that giant pile, taking a bit of a different route here to the basement. Maybe a good idea, but not in this case because everybody's already covering this. Set himself up to be shot with about 3 other guys. If you can avoid it, avoid peeking the same corner as the rest of your team. You're just really setting yourself up to get shot in the face, kind of like this. Finally on the outside, it looks like we might get a little bit of action and traction here. Manages to nearly get his head blown off by that guy. Probably be pushing a little bit further out. Throws down some health, a little bit here for the teammates and then himself. Leaves the health kit a little bit too prematurely. I probably would have stuck around there. Misses these 2 guys. Gets taken out by at least one of them. I want to take a second here to call out the fact that he probably would have survived that encounter if he had managed to heal up to full before charging in. Back on the teammate. Looks like we got a little bit of action happening out here. Definitely don't jam up here at the center. Misses this guy because he's busy reviving. You always question yourself when you're going to be throwing revives. This is probably some questionable activity here, just in general. I'd probably be pushing up towards Alpha and Bravo rather than trying to breach this point. Really too much concentration going in on Charlie and gets taken out. Looks like we got a revive from one of those teammates. Still trying to poke our heads in here at Charlie. Only one going towards Alpha and Bravo. Way too many jammed up here. The enemy team notices them here. They're done already. So just imagine how much damage those 8 or 9 people, those 2 squads, could have done if they had gone to Alpha and Bravo instead of trying to hang in here at Charlie. Omar taking a slow peek here. I probably would have aimed down sights to begin with. Lots of enemies generally at this icy portcullis here. Looks like we got a few bullets in between the railing there, but we're not really going to make any good progress here. Going in for that res, maybe a little bit dangerously. Gets taken out by an enemy, came down from above. Spawned in on the pile again, and we've got a grenade in our face already, so we got to make a move. Making a kind of risky move here. Grenades everywhere and gets taken out. So the US team is up by about 120 points now, and we're really not going to make a whole lot of progress on the central location. If you've ever seen the movie 300, you know how easy it is to push through a choke point. And like the Persians at the hot gates, apparently we're just going to try to run through like something else is going to happen. Got to revive, getting back up, trying to slink away like a slug. Seems to have gotten himself in a cubby here, a little bit further away from the action. No, we're in the main spot still. A couple of teammates coming out and getting on the point. I'm kind of curious as to where the enemy team is that's allowing this to happen. Manages to catch this guy taking a nap. A couple of teammates there in the staircase, it looks like, and gets taken out by guys from above and below. Defibrillator. And where's the revive? So let's get back on Omar. So taking a look here, we have the enemy team. Looks like they have pushed past Charlie, and they are now capturing Delta and Echo. And right here is why you don't cap that window, folks. You get taken from behind without your consent. Better be careful now. Takes that guy out with some good hip fire. Checking this. I probably would have aimed down sights while peeking that. Nothing going on here at Charlie now. Speaking of getting taken from behind, the US team has managed to take Delta from the Russians. If they can take Echo as well, the Russian team will be in really tough shape here as they'll only have 4 points, and it looks like Charlie is getting pushed right now. So my play in this situation would be to look at the minimap, make sure that there's enough teammates to secure Charlie, and there definitely are, and then make a move on Alpha or Bravo. I'm all about flanking on this map. DICE made a metro map with a solid flanking route, might as well make use of it. There's a possible opening there below, but we're not going to take it and try to get this revive train off instead. Don't quite get those guys. Going for the Delta tube instead. I probably would have peeked this tube instead, but you really need to pay attention to that mini-map. We can see that there's a guy above. He's coming down these staircases now. We totally miss him. Started with the hip fire and don't quite make it. So overall, here's the situation that's been going on in the map up to this point. The Russian team has not made a very good effort at taking the outside, although it looks like we've finally come up with Charlie, Delta, and Echo. Echo is currently in contention. Surprised by this guy, a little bit of panic hipfire and wins the day. See a couple of dead bodies. You bet those paddles are coming out, and here they are, and probably another one. Good revives on Omar, maybe to his own detriment, and I probably wouldn't be running with this many teammates near. This many teammates near me generally makes me claustrophobic for a couple of reasons. First, as you can see, it's hard to maneuver with this many players near. Second, I think what that must look like on the minimap, and I think how an enemy teammate must be thinking, oh my gosh, I really want to flank that. I don't want to be part of either of those situations. But the game situation is turned around for the Russian team, and now they are in command of the map with 3-2. However, you see that echo point moving again. And this shouldn't come as a surprise, as the minimap tells us the American team is in control of the outside. Looks like in this team, the Russian team got a little bit overextended, doing a little bit of work here. Way too many, probably going to be in trouble here. Just shooting for the sake of shooting now. Throwing grenades, just trying to back out of this hole we dug ourselves into. This is the situation. The entire team log jams up, and you have a couple of guys that are down here below and taking the point from you. Nobody notices, and you get taken out. So we've cleared the enemies off this point at Charlie below, but we still got enemies above, outside, and below still filtering. And we see one right here. Managed to take him out with the little bit of aim down sight love. This is clearly a lane that's not being watched very well. This is an opportunity for you. Does a little bit of pre-fire there, expecting to see somebody, nobody there. Look right, look left, nobody home. Time to push up. Looks like Bravo is going to be an easy pick. You can always turn back and go get that giant cluster of enemies here. It looks like we're going exactly that direction. I can't fault this decision. It's hard to take Bravo. We got one defender there, managed to plug him. Got a little bit too excited. We're going to have to heal up or this is going to be the shortest run ever. And never mind that, the insatiable bloodlust is taken over. We're getting shot at and sneezed upon and killed. Back outside for a change, the Russian team still in control of the map. The F-2000 is not well suited to the outside play because you have heads-up situations just like this where you get taken out by weapons that are better at range. Spawning in the staircase, we have a huge number of Russians here. Almost just gets taken out by that. There's a robot taking an aggressive stance here. Gonna kill, oh my god, murdered by robots. Looks like we got a res. Wally still killing. Wally cannot be stopped. So the Russian team's currently in control of the map, but 2 of the 3 points are currently in contention. My guess would be that based on past behavior of this team, probably that Delta point is going to be taken by the Americans here really shortly. Which is lucky for them because it's kind of hard to push past this Charlie defensive choke point if the team is actually defending it. Good intuition here moving for the rocks first instead of just running straight down the path. Since we have the bulk of enemy forces at Bravo, generally you're going to have enemies coming up this path to defend it. If you can, you want that cover near so you can cover your reloads just like that. And from this point you can get good coverage of this lane all the way to Bravo. Though you do open yourself up to snipers that are next to Alpha. If you're going to be pushing this outside lane, I'd recommend a weapon like the M416, Ace-23, AUG-A3, or something that's better at long range. And finally, we're getting an aggressive push from the Russian team here on the outside at Alpha and Bravo. However, we can see the American team is already pretty well established here at Echo and Delta. When you have 2 aggressive teams like this, you get interesting games of lockers. Action's going on here again on Raptor, so I'm going to come back to him. We've got a couple of defenders coming from Bravo. Doing a slow peek, not necessarily great visibility here. Probably would have been a better spot to hang out of that grenade for. Manages to take him out. Nice headshot. Doing a good amount of bursting there, but he was also walking back and forth a lot, so you can see again that vertical grip might have been a better choice for this weapon. So here's where you want to be careful of Bravo. We see we have a dead guy here, so we know there's at least one enemy right there. Good job on peeking. We probably will have other defenders spawning, so we need to be careful and be mindful of where those guys are. And we just got one coming from the team between Bravo and Charlie. Back in at Charlie. We're trying to push forward a little bit. Gets a little bit too clustered up on a friendly there. I probably wouldn't have been doing that if I were trying to be his buddy. That's how buddy I am with him. Takes that guy out right there. Finds the guy behind the green barrels or whatever you want to call him. Still taking rounds from behind. Need to be careful here. Moving on forward here, we see C4 on the ground. Be careful with that. Takes that guy out before he even sees him coming. Grenade lands at his feet. Suggests that there's at least one more enemy between here and friendly. There he runs. Doing some covering of a reload. Team is moving forward. Charlie's in contention. The enemy team might come up with all 4 points here, so we got to be real careful. Echo's been taken. Got a headshot in on that guy. Hold on, lots of action going on here on Bravo. Number of teammates getting cut down here. Got some action here to the right. Good job turning on that. Got to turn it and watch behind us. There's guys in the kitchen. All kinds of action going on here. Definitely time to be careful. Probably wait for some of his squad mates to gather up on him. Looks like they might be at the other spawn points. Takes cover there. I wouldn't repeat this because the enemy knows where you are. Yep, there it is. Managed to take that guy out. A little bit of luck there. Didn't seem to have healed up any. We see that there's one guy running through the kitchen, excuse me, the dining area right now. He gets taken out. Still respawns are happening on here. Probably time to get in on that point to get a little bit of action here. We've got several teammates that are ready to help you out. Looking at the map, it's not a good situation overall for the Russian team. We've got lots of guys. Probably not a good spot to hide for that very reason. Spawn on a squad mate. We're going to get some action done here, maybe with the MG4. That MG4 spam is real. Keep on coming. Keep it shooting. Not quite enough. Bravo's a hard point to take for the Russian team on this map. Not a whole lot of cover, especially when you have people willing to defend it. Delta is a much easier point to hold on to, and it looks like the Americans are doing just a job of that right now. It looks like the Russian team is finally taking it back, actually, just now. Split down the middle, Alpha and Echo are being taken by the U.S. team right now. Actually, they're controlled by the U.S. team. Doing a little bit of tap fire here, missing this guy to the right. Almost gets taken out by him. Does a good job of shooting him in the face. Maybe taking it a little bit slower here. Sees a couple guys to the right, maybe a little bit too exposed. Gets taken out by probably both of them. Spawning on Charlie. Currently, the Russian team is behind by about 200 tickets. This has been the general trend of this map, is that they haven't been able to control that outside lane, so the Americans have been getting in pretty easy. Unnecessary spot there. Almost hit taken out in the fact of the animation spot. Defensive C4 coming in. Misses a shot with that one. Throws another one. Better look out for the guys behind him here. Oh, should have been taken out by that guy much earlier and gets taken out by his buddy. Immediate action after a respawn. Almost gets killed by that guy coming up from the basement. Probably a couple of other guys possibly down there, at least with squad maybe. We see that there's some on the minimap. Taking shots at one guy there. Manages to get that guy before he takes on anybody else. Taking a little bit of damage from grenades. There's apparently a health pack nearby, which works in his favor. Needs to think about cover, but it's too late. Closing in on the end of this match, only about 150 tickets left to the Russians. Very fortunate spawn here for Omar. Not a whole lot of action going on back here. Looks like the American team is pushed up a bit. Going to take a little bit of a check down here at the base. And we find an enemy down here. Thankfully, he's using a shotgun. Doesn't matter. Gets taken out because of the MG4 spam. Omar spawning at Charlie here to make the last stand of the Russian team. You've seen on this particular round how a team can control Charlie, but it really doesn't matter because they don't control the rest of the map. They get in this mentality where they have to log jam the center, defend those center points at all costs, and usually that means costing them the game. Better burst that time from Omar, but you saw a little bit of motion back and forth that was unnecessary in the left-right. Now the whole team is blind, no idea where we're going. Rushing forward, gets killed from behind. And unsurprisingly, here we are to the same position we were 10 minutes ago. Very little has changed except the Russian team has fewer points and there's apparently a giant load of enemies down here. Might have been a good opportunity to break up the C4. Spawning on friendlies. The situation in the back caps has been taken care of, but we have lost the position on this map and we're back to the 3-2 that we've been at for the same pretty much majority of this map. Charging back in with the Russian team to take the oh-so-important point of Charlie. Pushing forward with the squad. Here we've got some guys on the left and some guys on the right. Want to watch out for both of them. You got to watch out for this gradient over top of where he is right now. Once the tower comes down, you can shoot through that, so you have to be careful of the responding defenders. See a couple of guys here take one out. Some good tap fire. No need to actually move around in this case. So the silencer has been doing some real good here and has been able to dish out a lot of pain to the enemy team, but it's just not silent enough. We're rounding in on probably what will be the last life for Omar here. He might get another one out, but we are bleeding tickets fast on the Russian team. Manages to catch these two guys. A little bit of vengeance for what just happened. We might push them off this point, but that's going to pretty much be the end of the game here once this has resolved itself. Not a bad choice to move between the pillars, but has just too much attention on him right now and gets taken out. One last spawn here maybe. 15 tickets left. Lots of smoking on the point. We can see a laser there. No sense in using lasers and smoke, folks. Right there is why. Almost eats that grenade. Gets taken out by the last defender. 3 tickets left, 2 tickets. That's going to be the game, folks. So let's wrap that up. Raptor-Omar's play is the same as about 90% of Operation Locker players. They stick to the center, try to force a breakthrough, and generally get slaughtered doing so. As you saw in this match, having Charlie does not ever mean you win the game, as a team that aggressively pushes the outside lane when your team does not means you still lose. If I were to improve a few things about Omar's play, I'd try to flank a bit more and do a little bit less side-to-side strafing when you're not under pressure. Additionally, there were a few times where he bunched up unnecessarily with teammates or tried to push in a hopeless situation. But overall, some good team play with early reses, even if some were a bit too dangerous. That's it for this episode of Over Your Shoulder. If you'd like the chance to be on a future episode, be sure to contact me or friend me on Battlelog. If you're new around here, please check out my channel and consider subscribing. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, YouTube.